Well, hey everyone. Sorry for not being around much lately. We'll zoom in on Mark here a little. Um, Long story short, I had the Rona, um, and obviously I'm fine from it, but it did knock me down a little bit. It wasn't a treat, so kind of spent some time getting over that and um, doing what I needed to do to not give it to other people, I guess. Anyways, just kind of a bad run of, crud. Um, Tested positive for corona. I got one of those at-home tests because I figured what are the chances of me getting a cold, two colds within a month. I had a cold before Christmas, not Christmas, Thanksgiving. So anyways, there was that, and then all you guys know I bought my new truck and gave Wes my old one, which really wasn't that old. It was a 2019. That burnt. I'll put a couple pictures in right here. So you see, she's pretty well torched. Nobody's fault. I guess it was just a freak thing. Wes had been home for 4 or 5 hours, and his dog was barking at the door. And when he got up to look at the door, as you can see in that picture, the truck was pretty well on fire. And it started in the engine compartment, obviously, and I don't know what. We hadn't fooled around with anything in there, and we haven't had any work done to it either that might have done it. So could have been rodents or something else. So that's kind of between COVID and that. Wes I couldn't really drive him around. I didn't want to give him COVID and then have him be out of work. So so he was pretty much, that was a Saturday, and part of my insurance, I had a rental, but he didn't get a rental until Wednesday, and it's a car. So after he got his rental, he was able to come back over here to Sumner, and he had a couple, 2 or 3 days, not super full days, to finish up forwarding here. And Jeff, I think I've talked about, he's the new guy. He was learning. The second week I wasn't around much because I had the corona, and he's doing pretty good. I don't, sometimes I get in my own head, but I don't have a lot of experience. I mean, I've trained very few people. Wes was new, and I'm just in a different spot. And I would say that he had no experience in a processor. He had worked in the woods years ago. Has a lot of equipment experience, but it would seem that his temperament is, he likes the woods business. He wants to do good, and so he's picking it up. He's doing well enough so that I think he'll be able to produce enough so that I'm not freaking out, and it'll give him more time to get up to speed. And once he gets up to speed and it's got everything figured out, he'll be able to stay ahead of Wes with no problem, and I would suspect within a month or so he'll probably be there, or a month, before, probably by the early part of winter. I guess we're almost in winter, but January at some point, I think he'd pretty much be feeling pretty good and able to get most everything down, and then pick up all the small tricks as you go along. So that's good, but the whole pickup thing's throwing things off. I had full coverage on it, so that's good, but my insurance company, I called them on a Monday, and the adjuster didn't get out there until last Friday, and I think she was on the road, so she was supposed to be writing up, what what it would cost to replace that truck, I guess. So, which I would think I would know today. But of course, the truck search is kind of hard. We did find a truck at one of the dealers that I've bought trucks before, and it's actually should work out pretty well. It's a year older than Wes's truck that I had, but it's got 48,000 miles, and it has the headgear for the same plow that was with that truck. So it actually, mileage wise, I went and saw it. It's in real good shape. It's the same package, same truck, just different color. I'll just need to buy the wiring and the joystick for the plow, but other than that, it's pretty well set up to match up to my plow, which would be good. So, and Wes finished up forwarding here yesterday. I was hoping to get moved real quick over to Hartford, but just, I guess it's probably the Christmas week. All the low beds are pretty well busy, so might be able to get somebody to move it tomorrow, but the weather looks kind of icy and crappy, so that might screw that up. So I'm not going to stress about it. By the time Wes gets over there, Jeff will have a whole bunch of wood processed, which will give him a little bit of a buffer to continue to get comfortable and pick things up. And so this just might be, if I'm looking at silver linings, this just might be you know, not ideal, but a good time for Jeff to have like got up to speed and got enough ahead of Wes where he's not under a whole lot of pressure, and that kind of may allow him to have gotten up to speed so that when we do get rolling, he can kind of keep his own and keep pace with Wes. So really, he picked up, you know, I ran the processor for him. He watched me, and that really improved a lot of the stuff that he was doing, and how neat his piles were, and how to separate them and stuff with the processor. So we'll yeah, it's been quite a few weeks here. Just trying to, you know, navigate having coronavirus, the truck burning. That was the other thing. It was the same day I tested positive and was not feeling great. That was the night Wes called at like 10. I was trying to get to sleep, all in a panic. Your truck's on fire in my driveway, da da. And I'm like, you know, I wasn't gonna sleep then. So, but and I really didn't feel like the sun's bright. I really didn't feel like making videos last week. All I really did was rest, and if I had to go out, I went and, you know, I could buy fuel at the pump with a credit card and keep Jeff fueled up. And of course, when Wes started back over here to clean up, he didn't have his truck, and so I had to fuel him up a couple times. And of course, it really, the fire wrecked everything except he had a big, like, rigid toolbox and everything. That was what luckily he had his grease gun and you know, Milwaukee grease gun, the Milwaukee Impact, and anything else he had in there was fine. That didn't get damaged. The fuel tank, as you can see in some of those pictures, was bulged up like a blimp in the pump's garbage. So, and it didn't sound like the insurance company would cover like the fuel tank and the fuel pump. We'll see. So hopefully I hear today, and that truck would be really the easiest way to go, because it's right the next town over from where I live. It's in good shape. It's lower mileage. Otherwise, I was looking at maybe trying to find something like a work truck package, crew cab 3/4 ton, and travel out of state. You know, if I found one and had to fly there, because there's nothing around. And there's more LTZs and SLTs and fancy trucks like mine kicking around, but I don't, and Wes doesn't care about having a fancy pickup, and I don't really want to spend $65,000 for a company truck. Not that, I don't, I want Wes to have a nice truck, but he wanted the rubber floors and rubber mats and all that stuff. He really liked the other package, so it works out good for me, but there's nothing out there. So this one happened to, I think they must have just taken it in. I'm sure the guy decided to buy a new truck and order one because of the used prices. So hopefully that works out. If that works out, it's right there. We can do that pretty quick. Get fuel tank. I have a spare fuel pump that I took out of my tank because I wanted a 120 volt to plug into the bed of the truck instead of a 12 volt. So I have a pump that's fine. So I can save a little money there, but I also have to buy a tank and have the plow hook up. So, and luckily Jeff, kind of the new processor operator, he's got a plow on his truck, and he was able to just scrape. We got probably 6 inches of snow, and he was able to scrape this job. And so Mark, get in now. Wes could get up here in his little Nissan. So yeah, it's just been. I'm ready for the new year. So hopefully it's a little smoother from here on out. I've got the see in the back, I got the job trailer. I decided to get that this morning, and got trip tickets from Mark. And so anyways, I don't know what else is going on. We're just we're over in Hartford for a few weeks until winter's kind of setting in, but we're not going to finish that job. We're going to go to a winter job. So we want to cut as much winter wood as we can, and not be burning up wood that we could cut in other times of the year. So anyways, so yeah, a lot of this and that, some crappy luck. Could have been worse. The truck was parked right next to Wes's, within 50 feet of Wes's house, and it was right underneath a great big hemlock tree. And luckily that day we had quite a little ice storm, and slushy, icy snow and ice. I think if we hadn't had that hemlock tree would have burnt, and it did get pretty cooked. But the cap on the fuel tank did its job too. I forgot to mention that. And it blew that cap right off. But Wes said there was flames coming right out of the fill hole in the fuel tank, and that cooked that hemlock tree pretty good. Luckily, Wes kind of wanted to cut it anyways, because I don't think it's going to live after that. But if we hadn't had that snow and ice, that hemlock tree may have caught on fire, and that might have could have caught Wes's house on fire. It could have, at the very least, it would have probably damaged his vinyl siding. But none of that happened. The fire department was out there really quick, got it out. So we were lucky. Wes wasn't hurt. Nobody was hurt. Feeling fairly fortunate, even though it kind of sucked. So at any rate, hopefully all are well, getting better here. So once we get back on track, I'll have, like I talked before, I'll get some more videos out there. So anyways, if I don't do another one, hopefully everybody has a great Christmas, good holiday, and hopefully I can, get a little more regular over the COVID, over the burnt pickup. So anyways, we'll catch you guys later. Like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you.